Ceolwulf has ruled the kingdom yet again, going back-to-back in the King Charles in front of a record Randwick crowd. Trainer Joe Pride joins us now. Good morning and congratulations, Mr. Pride.
Yeah, that was it was a fantastic result. He's a really exciting horse, and he's had a pretty lean 12 months by his standards. And he's not the sort of horse that seems to be able to string multiple wins together, but his peak runs are pretty amazing. He's a very exceptionally talented horse.
He's one of those horses underestimated at your own peril, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and I get why some punters don't like him. And I wish I could get him to sort of perform at that level all the time, but it's not that simple. And I like to think most of my horses are pretty consistent. He's a little, as I say, his peaks and his lows they're a fair way between. There's a fair gap between them, but something that maybe he'll get better as he gets older.
Well, look, if he's going to peak on a day, I suppose the King Charles isn't a bad day to peak.
No, that's it, and everything. With horses like this, you very much design their preparations around one or two runs, and it was always the focus of this preparation to have him peaking on King Charles Day. So in that regard, it very much went to plan. Just like to have seen him perform at that level in a couple of the other runs, because he would have won a few more along the way. But what wasn't to be, but got it right in our grand final, as they say.
I know you were focused on him, obviously, and cheering and with all the connections. Mrs. Haggis has been fairly critical of Zach Purton throughout the course of the week. Look, I've been in Newmarket, lovely people. They have won a lot of money here. I found it a little extraordinary, the outburst. Yeah,
look, it's one of those things. I thought it looked almost like it was a G-up. You couldn't get that upset about the horse didn't perform. But, yeah, look, I gave up giving jockeys a bagging a long time ago. You sort of waste a bit of energy and blow off a bit of steam, and they probably go back in the jockey's room and have a laugh with each other. So, no, I don't worry too much about that stuff.
Well, speaking of jockeys, how instrumental was Chad Schofield in that win at the weekend? You stuck with him. He has a good affiliation with this horse, and you could see how much it meant to him on Saturday as well.
It sure did, didn't it? You could see the excitement in his reaction, crossing the line and past the post. And yeah, look, it's Chad's been integral with this horse in certainly the two Group 1s last year and again this year. He's probably put in one bad ride on the horse, but that's not too bad out of the amount of starts he's had on him. And it's a difficult situation with jockeys because you ask a punter and they just say, I'll put James McDonald on. But James McDonald can only ride one horse in every race. So, I'm not saying it forces us to go for inferior jockeys, but if you want a jockey to stick with your horse, sometimes you've got to go searching a little bit wider than the riders that are available also that are used by those really big stables.
Yeah, and he's won Group 1s on the horse before. So, yeah, I remember being out there with you, and he was there with his young kids, and his dad was there. They certainly love the horse. Now, a horse that I absolutely love, and I love Jamie Walter from Proven Thoroughbreds. He was on our program just a couple of weeks ago. Private Eye, what a war horse. You don't want to call him that because he's still doing things that are quite remarkable, and he's in a Caulfield today.
He's an amazing horse. Yeah, he's been a really special horse for the stable, and it was a really good win for him last week as well. He's sort of clocked up 14 wins now. His next start will be next Saturday, actually.
Next Saturday, right, okay.
Yep, at Randwick in the Russell Balding race. He's won before and ran second in, but he's a remarkable horse, and he's sort of like part of the furniture here. Really nice furniture though, not just your boring type of furniture. But he's a great horse to have around, and it'll be a sad day when he walks out of the stable for the last time because I'm pretty attached to him. He's a pretty special.
I had a seniors moment there. I did know what I was saying, but I didn't say it properly. Of course, it's Cox Plate.
It's all right.
I meant last week.
It's all right.
But yeah, tell you what, I'm getting there.
Spring.
A lot of grey hair in this head.
Well, speaking of today, Joe, Attica is in the Spring Champion Stakes. This is a good race.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And here's a horse at the opposite end of his career to where Private Eye is, and a horse very much on the rise. And these are the ones that make me nervous. I never get nervous taking Private Eye to the races because he's done it so many times and I know what to expect. Young, brilliant horses like this, they make a trainer, or this particular trainer, very nervous because you're not exactly sure what you're going to get. And this is a horse that got beaten in a Class 1 at Kembla and then come out and put in that dominant performance. So he's 2 from 3 so far, a really exciting colt, still learning his trade. and I wouldn't be surprised at all if he won just as dominantly today. But as I say, he's a young horse and he's got a lot to learn.
We're looking at a horse in real good form for Chris Waller in Lindemann at the moment, but El Costello, if something happens and Lindemann falls over, El Costello could just be the horse.
Yeah, he's coming through with the right sort of form, having run in an Epsom and a King Charles last week. So that weight for age form, they don't need to find too much off. You know, when you get beat 3 lengths in a race like that, you don't need to find too much to be competitive. So he's won the Spring Champion last year, and he had 12 months off with a bit of an injury. So he's working his way back up to his peak form now, and an extremely important run for him in the context of this preparation and indeed his career today.
Joe, that crowd, we touched on it at the start of the show, that crowd last week was phenomenal. More than 50,000 people at Royal Randwick. They're expecting that, a huge crowd again next week for Golden Eagle Day. In your time racing here in Sydney, have you seen anything quite like it? And the generation of racing fan that was there as well, it made me feel incredibly old walking around the grounds.
Yeah, I stayed right out of those crowds. I stayed down at the horse stalls, but I appreciate that many people want to come to the races and want to be involved. The only day I can remember anything like that was Winx's farewell race in the Queen Elizabeth. That was packed to the rafters that day. But it's got to be good for the sport to be getting crowds like that in. So I don't need to be involved in it. I'm there it's a workplace for me. But it was a buzzing sort of atmosphere there last week, and you couldn't help sort of be drawn in by it.
Yeah, a very successful workplace for you, Joe. And I know the hours you guys put in, they are extraordinary. To see success for all of you is fantastic. Have a great day today.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for coming on.